Hi there guys, Tom Quayle here, back for the Sound Effects YouTube channel. Hope everybody's doing very well indeed as ever. Today I'm checking out 3 brand new pedals from the guys at Blackstar, and these are all part of a new range from Department 10. You can see just here this Department 10. This is the R&D department of Blackstar. And these pedals are really cool. They've got some very interesting features. Now, in the range here we've got 2 dual channel or 2-channel drive pedals here that have a bunch of different features in and a boost pedal. And as you can probably see here, each of these pedals features an ECC83 or 12AX7 preamp tube or valve. Now, I don't know how much of a difference that actually makes because we can't A/B with the tube in or out, but of course, you know, tubes make a good deal of difference generally for guitar players in terms of tone and feel, so it's a nice thing to have in there for sure. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's a ton of features for these, so we'll do the boost pedal last in terms of outlining those features because it's the least interesting, but it still sounds cool. But these 2 drive pedals, so we've got this dual distortion and dual drive, are effectively 2-channel preamps with 2 voicings per channel. So you've got a left and a right, or a channel 1 and a channel 2 on both of these pedals, that both feature a gain and a level control. Then underneath you've got 2 switchable voicings. So on the dual distortion you've got clean and crunch, and then OD1 and OD2, effectively 2 different voicings and gain stages of the same circuit. Then on the dual drive you've got clean and crunch, and then the crunch also maps onto channel 2, and you've got an overdrive as well, so it's a lower gain, more kind of vintagey, if you like, style circuit that's going on there. And both of these feature a Baxton Dial passive EQ. Now, if you know anything about hi-fi gear, you'll know that the Baxton Dial EQ is highly revered. It's very effective and sounds great and gives you a lot of tonal shaping. So we've got that on both of these, 3-band EQ that's shared between the channels. We also have the classic Blackstar ASF control, which basically allows you to go from a British to an American voicing. I believe the American is over to the left and the British over to the right, so that gives you the best of both worlds. And then we've got obviously the channel switching on there, but apart from that, there's some really cool and quite unique features built in. So these are designed to work as preamps that you can run in various different ways. Now, Blackstar or Department 10 have built in a really effective cab simulator in here. Now, when you first look at the pedals, you think there's a 3-way switch on here, and there is, of course, that allows you to switch between 3 different preset sort of impulse response style cab sims, but there's a bit more going on than just your standard impulse response here, because this USB cable here allows you to plug into a Mac or a PC and use their Architect software, which you can see on screen just here. And this Architect software allows me to go through and change a bunch of different parameters about the cab simulation that's in either of these pedals. It's shared between the 2. So we've got different cabs on here that we can select from, tons of different cabs, tons of different microphones, on axis, off axis. We've got room simulations in there as well, master EQ, and even power amp simulation. So you can choose between 6L6s, EL84s, EL34 power tubes. You can change the resonance and presence, and you've got a drive control for the power amp as well if you want to push some of that power amp style distortion as well, which is really cool. Those can be saved as presets on your computer, or you can store 3 different presets on the pedal. So as I switch between these, you can see in the software that we're changing between those 3 different presets. Now, I only plugged in via USB to the dual distortion. Of course, the dual drive has a USB on there as well that allows you to do the same thing. Now, on top of that, even more features. Both pedals also feature an effects loop here, which allows you to run obviously any modulations, delays, reverbs, whatever, into the effects loop. Now, I'm not doing that because I'm actually running everything into an aux at the moment via my Marshall Silver Jubilee just here, so it's running in the front there. So I'm bypassing the cabinet simulations for the first set of sounds you're going to hear and using the effects on the aux. But what we will do later in the video is I'll allow you to hear the DI'd signal using the line out here, the XLR out. You can also use the cab rig out, which obviously gives you the cab simulations via a standard jack. But I found that the balanced out here works really well. You could go to front of house, for instance, in a gig, go to a PA, whatever you need to do. So you've got a really kind of versatile setup in terms of I/O combined with the effects loop. Now, you also can double up the cab rig out as a headphones out if you want to use the cab rig with headphones and then run your effects in the loop there. So there's a ton of functionality here. It's really nice to see. They've thought a lot more about this than just having a standard kind of distortion pedal. They're preamps basically with really great connectivity. So with all of that said, both pedals feature the same kind of I/O and standard setup, again with the balanced output if you want to do that. And then the boost pedal is a lot simpler. This is a standard guitar pedal, but obviously it works great in combination with these. And it's got the same Baxton dial passive EQ, but in this case a 2-band EQ with low and high, and then your boost control. And again, in terms of feel and dynamics and response, you've got that 12AX7 or ECC83 tube in the front end as well. They all come with power supplies because these run, because of the tubes, at 200 volts. They're all 9 volt, center negative 500 milliamp power supplies. So you will need to use those power supplies unless you've got specific high voltage or high milliamp, I should say, power supplies from some other guys like Strymon or from, you know, Voodoo Labs or whoever. That will work, but you won't be able to run this off a standard kind of Boss power supply very easily. So that's what you get when you buy these pedals. We should really have a listen to them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug these into the front end via this output here. They're all daisy chained into my Marshall Silver Jubilee, which is set on the clean channel. And we're going to start with the boost and have a listen to how it sounds. And because I've got these plugged in various sockets here, there is a little bit of noise, so I apologize for that, guys. But you'll hear how these pedals sound when they're run into the front of an amp as a standard drive pedal, as opposed to using the cab sims. So let's start with that. I'm going to turn the standby on. Okay, so a little bit of noise, I apologize. Here is the sound of the clean amp on the, or the clean channel of the Silver Jubilee with my Ibanez TQM1 on the bridge pickup. It's a little bit gainy, edge of breakup. Okay, let's start with the boost. Let's turn it on. You can see where the EQ and boost set. Okay, so let's play with the EQ. You'll hear just how effective this is. Okay, do the same thing with the low. Pull that back out. So it sounds great. I just want to show you that really quickly in front of the drive channel as well, so you can hear how you can use this to push the front end of the amplifier. So again, noisy, sorry guys, I appreciate that you know, it's noisy, but again, we've got these plugged into 2 different outlets. So here is the overdrive channel on the Silver Jubilee without the boost. Bring the boost in. So highly effective in that regard, works really, really nicely as a way of kind of pushing an amp into saturation or just boosting the front end of an amplifier on the clean channel to give you a fatter sound. It's a great sounding boost pedal. Obviously works in combination with these two as well. So let's go back to the clean channel on the amp. Turn the standby on again. Let's have a listen to the 2 pedals when you use them in combination with an amplifier as opposed to the cab sims. So we'll start out with the dual distortion. Let's start with the crunch channel. I'm not going to use the clean channel in this respect because it doesn't make much sense. You would use that just as a preamp. You could run that into the power amp of your existing amplifier. If you just wanted to bypass the preamp and just use this pedal or this one as a preamp, that would work great. So here's the relatively clean sound. Let's turn on channel 1 on the crunch setting. Okay, let's switch over to overdrive 1 here. Again, we'll increase the level a little bit. Let's just check out the dual drive as well. So we'll start with the crunch here, slightly less gain. A bit more vintagey sounding. Okay, so now you're going to be hearing the line out from the dual distortion. All of the pedals are running into the dual distortion, so we can hear the dual drive through the speaker sims on the or the cab sims on the dual distortion as well. But obviously, if you just had the dual drive, you would run out the line out of this one, and the boost is just working as a boost. So we're going to be hearing the cab rig, and we're also going to be using the Architect software here. So at the moment, you're hearing the de-eyed sound with the cab sim applied. Let's turn on channel 1. We're on the crunch setting. Obviously completely dry, no effects on there at all. And we've got a ton of flexibility here in terms of what we do. So using the Architect software, if I just close down the mic window there, we're running a 4x12 here with EL84s. We've got a ribbon 121 microphone that is on axis. We can switch it off axis as well. And then we've got a medium room, but it's muted at the moment. And then we've got this master EQ window here. So we've got a bunch of different things that we can do. So let's start tweaking a few settings. So the first thing we'll do, we'll play with the power amp. Let's go to EL34s. You can hear that's made it much darker. Let's try the 6L6s. Play with the resonance, bring that down. Same thing with the presence. And then we've got this drive control for adding power tube saturation or distortion. Which I'm a big fan of, actually. I think that sounds great. Now let's go for an SM57 here, off axis. You can see the mics we've got here, all the classics, 4121, AKG 414, a U67, a Royer 121, and a Royer 160 as well, or a Ribbon 160, sorry, Bayer Dynamic 160. So a brighter sound, let's bring in some of the room here. So we'll go for the large room undamped. Let's do that in stereo. Gives you a little bit more ambience. Let's go for the smaller room, damped in this case. So, lots of flexibility. Let's come in and change the cab. You can see there's a bunch of different cabs here. We're on this Vintage UK, which I presume is using Vintage 30s, probably. Let's go for the oversized UK cab. Open back. Thinner sound. Modern 2x12. A 1x12. So lots and lots of flexibility here, and of course that's all combined with the flexibility of the pedal itself. If we switch over to OD2 here, tons and tons of gain. Let's pull some of the high end out. So really, really useful, very, very easy to use as well. And of course, this makes a great recording solution. So tons and tons of flexibility here in terms of how you can use these pedals, both in a live and a studio situation. They sound really good, and actually the feel is good as well because of that tube. I don't know exactly how much of a difference that makes, whether it's a gimmick or not. I mean, realistically, a single tube in the front end, I don't know if that's going to make a big difference, but they're not that expensive either. So, you know, they're pretty affordable considering that this makes a nice recording preamp. So you could make a nice board here with just one of these, or, you know, this and the boost pedal, and then your effects in the effects loop, and you're good to go, basically. You just have a small rig for recording or live use on silent stages. Great for practicing as well, using the cab rig out as a headphone socket. And also, the last thing I should mention is the USB port also doubles as a high quality audio interface for recording. So you can play back audio from your DAW or your computer straight through here. No drivers required on macOS. I'm not sure about PC, whether it's class compliant, doesn't require drivers or not. That'd be worth checking out. But certainly on a Mac, you just plug it in and it works straight away. And you can use it for recording as well. So if you're in Studio One, Logic, Cubase, whatever you happen to use, Reaper, it's going to work as a great quality audio interface for recording with all of this Architect software on there as well. Save your presets and you are good to go. So that's a lot of stuff, guys. Thank you for your patience in terms of watching the video and going through all of this with me. It's a great range, really well built, really good features, nice and affordable considering the feature set as well. And of course, that little boost pedal on the end sounds great with that Baxton dial EQ. If you want to know more about these pedals, of course, click the link in the description below, and that will take you to the Sound Effects website where you can check out the full details and, of course, purchase these pedals for yourself. All right, guys, my name's Tom Quayle. Thank you so much for watching. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like and subscribe buttons below, and, of course, the bell notification icon to make sure you never miss any more Sound Effects content ever again. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.